Hello. So we have today Layla AL Naif.
Hi.
For the Valeo podcast. I'm very excited.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
So Layla is a nutritionist who's focused mostly on women's health. And this is I think it's a subject that we don't talk about enough. The discussion had already started before the podcast, but we were looking at before 1993, there was very little clinical trials that were made that included women. For me, this is like
shocking.
I mean, it's like sadly shocking.
Yeah.
Sadly. And thinking about, growing up as a woman and going to doctors or having hormone issues, which is something both of us experienced, and having doctors tell you things that you need to do.
Very with finality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But based on whatever research actually looking at if, they're looking at clinical trials and they're like, okay, clinical trials are showing me this, so I have to give my patient this.
Yep.
And assuming that a clinical trial on a man can actually be applicable to a woman. But we know very well that women and men are very different.
Well, we're learning that now.
Yeah.
With trial and error.
Exactly.
I think.
Nothing against men, but you have enough clinical trials to know what you need.
We understand you.
Yes.
It's enough.
Exactly. So for women, I think it's sad, but it's exciting. Like for me, it's like, wow, like now we're going to focus on women's health. We started, of course, from 1993, and so much can come out and we can actually meet our potential. But so Layla, I wanted to ask you, how did you get into women's health? Because actually you didn't study nutrition in the beginning and tumbled upon it through I need to solve my problem.
Through my own issues. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. So I studied in university, went for not a nutrition degree, even though I regret that so much. I wish I did that in college.
Okay, you got it as an extra.
Okay. Yeah, but it would have been really more interesting than what I actually studied. So whatever. It's okay. No regrets. And when I graduated, got a diagnosis for PCOS. And I was 19, turning 20. I was very young.
Quick definition on what is PCOS. I think, a lot of people maybe think they have PCOS or have actually PCOS but don't know they have PCOS. So if you can give us a quick understanding on it, which would be great.
So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
And people think they have cysts on their ovaries. They're not actually cysts. It's just the term. It's follicles. So every woman, a normal woman, has between 4 to 6 follicles on their ovary.
Okay.
A polycystic woman has over 8 on each ovary.
Okay. So you have more follicles.
You have more follicles. And it doesn't actually affect you as long as one of those follicles releases an egg every month. That's ovulation, right?
Yes.
So what can happen is a polycystic woman might not ovulate. That's where something becomes a bit more complicated. When your cycle's not regular, ovulation's not regular, egg quality can go down. There's a long list of things that potentially can happen if you're polycystic. But if you have the extra follicles and you don't have any other symptoms, you don't really classify.
And it can start as young as 19, 20.
It can start when you're younger.
Oh, wow.
Reproductive age, I think.
Okay.
And it can develop from lifestyle and diet.
Okay. But at 19, 20, what was your lifestyle?
I was crazy.
Exactly,
Who wasn't? I was going out. I was, partying. I was living my life. I didn't care. Listen, we come from a healthy house. Okay.
Yes.
My parents are both till today in the gym every single day.
Very nice.
Okay.
Super
healthy.
That's not very Middle Eastern, by the way.
My parents are definitely. My mom is British. My dad grew up in the UK.
So the British came.
Oh gosh, they just got back from Austria on a hiking trip.
Oh,
they're very
nice.
Active.
Okay, that's
so
good.
I grew up in a healthy house. So when I say I was crazy, I wasn't crazy to the point of I didn't love to eat junk food and processed food, but it was still around.
Yes.
Chocolates and sweets. And
I think we definitely did not have any awareness at that time.
I just ate what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it caught up with me.
Yeah.
And you can be more susceptible.
Yeah.
So you have to be not everybody would be a sensitive. I have a friend who did the same thing, but she's fine.
Yeah.
So you can't
you can't
compare.
all different bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit shocked when I got that diagnosis, let's say. And I did have all the symptoms. I had weight gain, I had insulin resistance, my thyroid was not functioning very well, acne, hair fall. I was really not doing well with my moods. But I didn't know that was...
For a 19, 20-year-old, I feel like those are all the symptoms that you don't want to have.
100%. You want to thrive. You should be thriving.
Exactly. Yeah,
and I was not thriving. I was in my worst period, honestly. So I went to the doctor and he said, you have PCOS. I said, what's PCOS? At that time, this was over 10 years ago. I didn't know what that was.
We don't know,
now it's more familiar, the term. And social media wasn't as loud as it is now, where people share their experience. So I didn't know anything.
100%.
And that's kind of when I kept getting prescriptions for stuff that I did not want to take.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give me an end date. They're just like, take this. When you want to get pregnant, come back to me.
Oh my God.
I was like, that's not cool.
By the way, nothing against the medical world. I think each one is doing with the best they can. This is a disclaimer,
Disclaimer.
Just for this podcast. But I think what we're saying here is very similar to what a lot of people experience. I mean, it's not like one thing. I think each party is trying to do the best they know.
Of course.
But at that time, I feel there was no awareness about what are you eating.
There still isn't. Doctors do not study nutrition.
No, they don't.
In school.
We actually looked at it. They study. I mean, because
Very
they
little.
need to study how to save
Of
you,
course.
which is another thing completely. But
Totally respect
3
that.
hours of nutrition.
Imagine.
3 hours.
So they have no idea. And nothing against doctors, but for a lot of conditions, you can reverse them through nutrition.
Yes.
Not life-threatening ones. I'm not talking about the life-threatening ones.
Yes, of course.
But, there's a lot of...
And you were 19, 20, so your
child.
body can still, heal itself.
I was healthy. I all of a sudden had these symptoms over the 6-month course. It wasn't from years and years ago.
Yes.
It was very random.
Yes. So then, did you take the medication?
I took glucophage for the insulin for 3 months. Nothing happened. Didn't feel better, didn't lose weight. They're like, oh, we'll make you lose weight. Because I had gained 14 kilos.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, at a 19-year-old, that was a lot of weight for me.
2-3 kilos.
I was always slim, healthy, athletic. I wasn't I didn't have a weight issue. So for me, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I was feeling a bit desperate. So I took the glucophage. It didn't help me. So I stopped taking it. I just stopped, which probably wasn't the best. I don't advise that. I'm not advising someone to do that, but that's what I did. I just went and found another doctor who was more, integrative and functional in the sense of, they use supplements and other alternative methods.
And what age were you by then?
Probably this was I must have been 20.
Okay.
Because I was just about to turn 20.
Yeah.
And I had just moved to Dubai.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I'd graduated and I moved back from the UK. Okay. And I was like, okay, this is my time to figure my health out. This was my priority. My mom found the doctor and she was amazing. She was incredible. And she looked at my results and my serotonin was 0. Basically.
So what is serotonin?
It's your happy hormone. So it's literally your happy meter.
So PCOS also, I think, affects depression, right? It affects your mood.
It can affect any of your hormones in theory, right? And glucose levels, your thyroid, moods. It's all a package situation.
The more I read actually about hormones, the more I realize hormones is everything.
It's everything.
Insulin a bit, with sugar levels.
Which is insulin's a hormone.
Yes.
There you go.
Exactly.
So it's all connected.
So
they
it's
work.
Basically your control, not functional.
Yes.
So your serotonin
was really, really low.
Okay.
No doctor had told me that. So I didn't know. On the blood labs, you're going back to lab work. Yes. My serotonin was in the normal range at a regular clinic.
Yes.
But when I went to this functional clinic, she's like, how are you not depressed? This number is scary. Yeah. And I was, but I didn't know. Yeah. Because I'm one of these people that's like, okay, just brush it off. Come on, get your shit together. It's fine. You keep going. Yeah. So I tried to just live my life and still smile and live normally. She's like, how are you functioning? Yeah. So it was worrying when when you see the difference in how people interpret results, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So it was getting everything handled. Obviously diet changes, which I then went into nutrition because I got inspired. I'm like, let me learn for myself to heal myself.
What would you say, as if for someone that has PCOS, like the top 3 things for nutrition?
Dairy, refined,
so no dairy. Okay.
Because dairy today is not...
It's not dairy.
No, it's not dairy, guys. If you're living on a farm in Austria and you have a cow in your backyard and you're milking the cow, I'm cool with that. Okay. But are we doing that? No. No. So no dairy. It's very inflammatory.
We order it online.
Yeah.
And it's all 5 minutes.
Looks really pretty. Yeah. It's in a bottle, but no, it's not real dairy anymore.
Okay, so no dairy.
No dairy. Okay. It's very inflammatory.
Okay, yes.
Gluten, I'm talking refined gluten. So
okay. What is refined gluten?
Anything that uses a white processed flour. Okay. So pasta that you get in a restaurant. White breads that you buy in a supermarket, pastries, anything that uses flour.
So try to bake your own or try to...
Sourdough bread would be ideal. A wholemeal sourdough bread, that's the only bread I recommend. Other than that, you really want to avoid gluten. Okay. Because it's just very processed and gluten is quite difficult to digest and
Yes,
inflammatory.
definitely.
So that's the second one.
We do food intolerance tests.
Of course.
And dairy and gluten are one of the top ones.
Everybody. Not one of my clients has sent me an intolerance test and it hasn't been there on the marker. I'm like...
And some people are like, oh, but you know, food intolerance maybe now and then. For me, for example, it changes.
It does.
Every 6 months, depending on like my gut microbiome.
True.
But dairy never changed.
No,
I could not eat cheese.
Eggs changes.
Yeah.
I've seen eggs go back and forth.
Eggs, me too. I have eggs, but I manage to eat eggs. Eggs, like eggs white sometimes.
And you take a break sometimes. You don't overdo it.
Yeah.
But eggs is one of those...
Your body tells you usually.
You know when you don't feel good with eggs.
Yes.
It's very obvious.
Yes,
you feel a bit nauseous. You feel a bit too full.
Eggs is also one.
Yeah.
You're right.
Again, it depends on the person.
Yes.
So if it's not feeling good... don't eat it.
Don't eat
That's
it.
it. Just use your common sense. It's quite easy to know.
A lot of times, like when we do the food intolerance test and people see the results and they're like, oh, I knew. Your body tells you, but like we're in denial and then we see the result. Okay, fine. Okay.
Well, because it's food is habit.
Yeah.
If you're used to eating eggs every morning, you're going to do that because you don't know what else to eat.
Yes.
So that's what happens with my clients. They're like, well, I eat eggs every day.
Yeah.
It's too much. You shouldn't be eating eggs every single day. It's a lot. No. So it's habitual.
Yeah.
And changing habits is where I see the best results.
One of the advice we give is you need to play with you need to play. You can't eat the same thing every day. Okay, maybe bodybuilders now will tell me, no, I eat every day this much.
Red meat and chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So it works for some.
Yeah.
But I think if you want a healthy microbiome, you should really play and enjoy it.
Enjoy food.
Yeah.
Learn to love to cook and experiment and use different vegetables and different fruits and different grains and nuts and beans and there's so much.
There's so much. And then the third one, you mentioned dairy, gluten.
Sugar. That's an obvious one. Not saying all sugar. Obviously, fruits is great. Dates are great. A little bit of honey, not heated, like a little teaspoon of honey. That's fine if you have a sweet tooth like me.
Yeah.
I like my sweets, but I make my own and I use really good, swaps.
Yes.
And everybody thinks it's the same. It's not the same. Come on, guys. It's 2024.
Is it the same taste?
How are people saying that white sugar is the same as honey? I can't believe it.
No.
I can't believe it. When I post videos, I'm like, what? Like how? It's not true.
If you eat white sugar and if you eat honey, your body reacts
very differently.
Yes. How does it react differently?
The glucose spike.
Okay, exactly.
One.
Yeah.
Okay, so the glucose spike is much more, it's still a spike. I'm not saying it doesn't give you all food gives you a glucose spike, guys. Like this is a fact, okay? Obviously you want to...
Good workout gives you one.
You want to control the spike.
Yes,
you can do that in so many ways without completely cutting out anything. No, you need to eat fruits.
Yeah.
They're so good for you. Yeah. Honey has enzymes and antioxidants. Yeah. Dates has fiber and magnesium. Yeah. Everything has its purpose.
One thing about insulin resistance, I think this is one of the things people that have PCOS.
Yes, I had that as well.
Yeah. So insulin resistance, actually, I had it too. And I realized with time, you think insulin resistance means, correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. It means, okay, you might be pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually mean you have high sugar. It means you have like spikes.
You have spikes.
Up and down.
Yeah,
of sugar,
it's drastic.
Okay, yes.
So your body's not, you're doing something, or you're eating something, or obviously if your hormones are a little off, your insulin goes a bit out of whack, right? So the way that your glucose goes up and the way your insulin goes up and the kind of reaction is off.
Yes.
So understanding how to eat is very important. The order that you're eating in.
Yes.
When are you eating sugar? Are you eating it on an empty stomach? Are you eating it after food?
Yes.
Are you eating snacks? Are you snacking a lot? Are you having a salad because you think...
Do you like snacks or...
No.
Okay, me too.
Because of the insulin. Because it's a separate
makes a huge difference.
Spike. The minute you eat your lunch or your breakfast, your insulin needs to come down.
Because you get a lot of this, like, eat 5 small meals a day. When I tried to do this, I felt sick all the time.
Why? We don't need that much.
Exactly.
We don't need that many meals.
No, why do I need to eat 5 times?
3 meals.
For me, or maybe some other people need
Look,
more.
a lot of, I've seen a few people that need to eat smaller meals because of their gut.
Yeah.
They can't handle big meals.
Yeah.
Or a lot of protein all at once. So there's rare cases where...
That you need.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's rare.
Going back to insulin resistance, I think something that people that have PCOS have it. And I think it's one of the main things that I feel if you manage to control it, everything else trickles down better.
Truth.
So you mentioned the order you eat. Mm-hmm. So how should somebody eat?
Your meals should always consist of good carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Good
Carb.
carbohydrates, I mean a little bit of jasmine rice or
Okay.
basmati rice.
Okay.
Brown rice, I'm not a huge fan because it's a bit tough to digest. So
Yes.
those are my rice preferences. Potato, sweet potato, pumpkin, a
I
starchy
love
vegetable. That's fine. Quinoa, buckwheat. Buckwheat is also a nice option for PCOS because it's low glycemic index, which
But
is
it doesn't
helpful.
taste
Doesn't taste very good. I used to eat it a lot, not
I
anymore.
tried so much to cook buckwheat and add like some different sauces and add. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not,
It's a taste
I
thing.
can't use this grain.
You're like, I'm done. And it's a preference. Choose what you like.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually quinoa or a bit of
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah.
And then, a good quality oats, for example, organic oats
Yeah.
here and there. So just
But
choosing.
we need actually a bit of carbs.
You need a good bit of carbs.
Women need actually a bit of
Women
carbs.
need a bit of carbs.
Yay!
This should be
That is good
a
news.
headline
Yeah.
because you can't. It doesn't work. It
Yeah.
really messes with your hormones when you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Premenopausal women
Yeah.
need good carbs.
Okay.
Because
makes a difference after.
It's a little different.
Okay.
When you're a little older, your digestion is different, your
Yeah.
hormones are different. So I'm speaking about let's focus on premenopausal
Yes,
women
yes,
because
yes, yes.
your period is sensitive, right?
Yes.
Very sensitive.
Yes.
Most people. If you
It
travel,
makes us sensitive.
makes us sensitive. So you want to be very mindful that you're not cutting out
Yeah.
something very intensely. You
Yeah.
can cut out carbs and lose weight.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
So I think a lot of women when they were growing up and had hormone imbalances
Yeah.
have tried everything like no carbs, no sugar,
Diets.
intensive,
Yes.
workouts, low calorie,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically you like starve yourself
Yep.
over workout,
Mm-hmm.
and so your cortisol levels are up the roof, and you don't eat carbs.
Yep.
Exactly.
Women train like men.
Exactly.
I see it in the gym.
Yes.
And I'm looking at them
Yes.
and I'm like, you do not look feminine. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
But you shouldn't.
Some women want to look like that, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
your
fine.
aesthetic,
But
but
actually
it's
for
not
hormones,
yeah,
right?
It's not good for your hormones.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not good for your hormones.
Yeah.
Women are not men, and
Yeah.
there's a reason.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we need to treat our bodies
Yes.
like they need to be treated.
Yes.
And if you do train like a man
Yeah.
or eat like a man,
Yeah.
eventually that will catch up with your hormones. Whether your
Yes.
testosterone goes up, whether your
Yes.
cortisol goes up. If cortisol goes up, progesterone, one of the main
Yeah.
female hormones, immediately goes down, which is what
Yes.
happened to me.
Yes.
My cortisol was high, my progesterone, they go hand in hand.
Yes.
Your progesterone goes low, your period goes missing.
Okay.
So it's all
And
very
actually
connected.
that leads to weight gain.
Of course.
I do feel and please, like, no judgment. I did all of this to lose weight too.
Same,
You know?
same.
Like,
No judgment. I've been there.
So for
I'm
me,
sharing
like
'cause
my
it-
hormone imbalance came with like 14 kilos of weight gain.
It was
and then
awful.
you're
Same.
training like a mad, eating little,
Or intermittent fasting.
or intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting actually, I do it for 14 hours, not
Yeah.
more.
Mm-hmm.
More, it's not good for a woman.
14 is okay. That's a normal amount
it's all,
to be
but
fasting.
all this have things that we've tested and
Yeah.
found out.
We're guinea pigs.
Yes, exactly.
It's trial and error.
Exactly.
And what works for a month doesn't mean you do it for the year.
Yeah.
You can intermittent fast for a month as a healing technique.
Yes.
Look at all the religions. They all have some
Yes.
sort of fasting
Yes.
in their religion.
I
I
love
understand
that.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of healing benefits to fasting. I
Yes.
fast in Ramadan. That's fine.
Yes.
But it's only a month.
Yes.
And then you stop.
And
You
then
don't do
stop,
it for
yeah.
life. There's a
Yeah.
difference between doing it for a short period as a
Yeah.
healing technique
Yeah.
and doing it every single day for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And your body, I think, gets used to it anyways.
Of course.
And I think every woman's body is different.
I agree.
So some women can, like, for example,
There are exceptions.
Let's say, I have friends that on their first day of period, they can go to the gym and work out.
Yep.
I can't.
Well, most people, first day, it's not
Yeah.
recommended.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
It's not recommended.
Okay.
You should take it easy. You can go for a walk.
Okay.
You can stretch. You can do something,
So actually,
gentle.
even this whole, going back to the scientific research
Yeah.
and, everything that was tested on men were assumed to be on women.
Yeah.
And then now, we're having a lot of information and content on actually how to move around your cycle
And
how
eat
to
around your
eat
cycle.
around your cycle.
Finally. It makes a huge difference.
It makes
It's
sense.
common
We just
sense.
have to put it into
Yeah. And this is the thing. I think that people cling to research from 20 years ago. So whenever I post something on my Instagram, for example, I'm getting comments from research that was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, things have really evolved since
Yeah.
then, guys.
Yeah.
Like you have to keep up because
Yeah.
research is obviously now huge.
I
It's
mean,
huge. And
yeah.
it changes. I
Yeah.
used to be vegan. I don't believe in the vegan diet anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
learn, you live, you learn,
Yeah.
you try, and
Yeah.
then you figure out your body.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I was telling you that was one of the reasons Valeo came to be, because let's say when you're going through something, and I do feel, it takes the journey to go to a really hospital and be like chronically sick.
Sadly, when you're desperate,
it takes time, right? But the journey leading to that is like you trying to fix it yourself, basically,
because you get desperate.
Yeah,
and you're like on your last leg trying to figure it out.
Yes,
and only then, like, people used to look at me 10 years ago when I cut out gluten, dairy, and sugar. At the time, that was really weird. Nowadays it's fine. People get it. Now it's you don't eat dairy, you're like, oh cool, you're on the no dairy trend. But back then, I was, getting comments left, right, and center, and people thought I was so strange. I'm like, I will do absolutely anything
to feel better.
Dairy, I mean, no big deal. That is, you'll do what's needed if you're desperate. If you're not desperate, you will not make change.
100%.
And I only get clients who are literally at their wits' end.
Yes.
And they're like, I can't live like this anymore. But sadly, they wait until it's desperate.
But I find it so interesting that it's actually things that how we feed our body, how we move our body, and the supplements that we take to adjust it or support it,
heal.
That can actually make changes. It's not rocket science. No. I don't think it has to be like food that you need to, as a chemist, cook it in a way,
back
or
to basics.
Take 12 supplements. I mean, Valeo, we sell supplements, but we don't really believe somebody should take 12. Exactly.
For what you need.
Based on what you need, definitely supplements support. So I do feel so with Valeo, you become your own test, like your own guinea pig. You can
keep up with your body.
You can do your blood tests, see your data. Your data tells you everything you need to know about you. And then you adjust, you eat something, you take supplements.
And it changes.
Everyone is different.
Yeah, and it changes. Yeah. Just because you're taking something now doesn't mean you take it for life.
No.
You take it until it's fixed. It means to an end.
Yeah.
And then you test again. Yeah. And you move on. And you do that one. I like to get my blood test, which, by the way, I need to do.
Yes.
Once to twice a year.
Yes.
And my husband is the same. We do that. We keep up with ourselves, because taking so many supplements also, not all supplements are meant to be taken forever.
No.
Not at all. No. So it's not... I love supplements, but I think there's a time and a place.
No, so one of the things is you don't need to take it at all times. That's why you test and check, because you can actually be toxic in vitamin D.
Exactly.
Which we see a lot of people saying like, oh, I've been taking 3 years vitamin D, 10,000
every day.
Yeah. And we're like, maybe not.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I know it's funny.
It's hard. It's hard for people to understand.
People think they're taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
But they're not.
No.
So, for example, you have a lot of hair supplements that are in the supermarket or in the market that have basically, poison as their ingredients.
Look at the ingredients, guys.
Exactly.
Look at the ingredients.
And people take it for years. And it can actually affect them.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
Most products, to be fair. I mean, look at the back of any product.
You need to look at the ingredients. Yeah. I mean, in Valeo, we make it a point that unless it's Hair Plus, which it's a multivitamin, it'll be 2-3 ingredients.
Yep.
Because you don't need more.
What you need. It's what you need in there. It's not the sugars and the xylitol and the xanthan gums.
But let's go back to, I think we can speak for hours, and I'm enjoying this a lot.
Yeah.
For women, I want to tap into, I think we spoke about nutrition. I want to tap into movement and supplements.
Yes.
So in terms of movement, there's also, as you said, we're actually not supposed to be training like men in the gym.
No.
How are we supposed to be training?
So obviously this again goes down to the state of your body.
Especially for somebody who has PCOS.
Exactly. So I was just about to say, it depends on the state of your body. So this isn't a general rule. This is it depends how you feel. If you're someone who has, a 28-day cycle, you get your period regularly, you don't have any insulin issues, you don't have any hormone issues, then you have a bit more freedom because your body can handle it. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe it can handle more HIIT workouts. If you're someone, the opposite, who has hormone imbalances like I did, insulin issues, weight gain issues, acne issues, etc. HIIT training killed me. It made it worse because it spiked my cortisol. And I would feel horrible.
First, we're making all the effort to go do it, and it's an extremely hard workout, and we feel horrible.
And I would feel horrible. Sometimes I would cry. Sometimes I would be angry. I would have all this anger, and I wouldn't know what to do with it. And I'm like,
100%.
And I didn't connect it. I thought I'm just having a bad day.
No, I'm weak.
it wasn't the
I
case.
can't work out.
I felt horrible.
Yeah.
So I did that for years because I
100%.
wanted to lose weight. That's what everybody does, right? You want to lose weight, go to the gym. No. For me, 70%, 80% of weight loss is food. So don't
100%.
run to the gym. Like if
Yeah.
you want to go to the gym, do what you like.
Yeah.
Do what you like and do low impact strength training. That's fine.
Yes.
Pilates, awesome.
Yeah.
Yoga, amazing. Walking, a little jog, that's fine. Just avoid the really high intensity workouts.
Yeah.
For a period of time. Like now, I can go to the
put,
gym.
like, your cortisol levels a bit more
Exactly.
balanced.
And make you feel good. You don't
Yes.
want to have any extremes. Just avoid the extremes.
And your body will tell you, actually, okay, you know, you'd be like, okay, I can do a stronger.
That's the thing. So
Yeah.
now I'm talking, this is how I was 10 years ago.
Yes.
Now I can go to the gym and do a bit more hits.
Yes.
And I'm good.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, I figured it out now. So it
Yes.
changes. It's just because you're doing something for now doesn't mean
Yeah.
you'll never be able to do a hit workout.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
But go easy on yourself. Women are so hard on themselves when it comes to the gym.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Like, oh, I ate pasta, I gotta go to the gym. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you don't. You're fine.
Yeah.
Don't go to the gym. Like that's
just enjoy it. And
enjoy
forget
it and eat well because you love to eat well and
Yeah.
work out because you love to work out.
Yeah, we make it sound easy. We all know it's not easy.
It's not
but
easy.
it's really not complex too.
Like love your body.
Yeah.
Don't punish your body. I see a lot
Don't
of
punish,
punishment.
yes.
Women
Yes.
punish themselves
Yeah,
all the time. I see it with food,
100%.
with working out. It's a punishment.
yeah.
Don't make it a punishment.
So then, if you're punishing your
negative.
body, like exactly,
What do you think that negative energy is doing to you? You
Exactly.
think it's not going to affect you?
exactly. When you punish a kid, okay, I don't have kids, but I'm assuming when you punish a kid, the kid is not very happy, and
No.
you're like punishing yourself,
And it's
you know?
negative.
Yeah,
Anything negative. I mean, I believe very strongly in energy. So
Yes.
if you look at yourself in the mirror and speak negatively to
100%.
yourself, that's going to affect you.
yeah.
You have to change your mindset
Yeah.
before you want to see
And
change in your
mindset,
body.
I think is like is a muscle. It's not a thing that you say, okay, I'm
practice.
going to change my mindset.
It's hard to change it.
Yeah, it's very hard to change, but it can change.
It can change.
Exactly, yeah.
One of my main things on my group nutrition programs
Yeah.
is I send a weekly affirmation.
Yeah.
And I say you need to recite this affirmation
Yes.
daily, at
Yes.
least 2 to 3 times a day.
Yes.
And it's very positive words about the body.
Yes.
And a lot of people were like, oh, probably this is so silly and what is this? But it really made a difference. And a lot of people came back to me and said it was a life changer. I've never spoken kindly to my body.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
and your
wow.
body actually believes it.
It believes
because
it. What you say, it believes.
Exactly.
For
and
sure.
you've been saying so many bad things for so many years that your body actually believes
Like, I
it.
can't lose weight. Don't
exactly.
say that.
No.
Don't say that. You're putting that on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
really change the way you speak
Yeah.
and the way you think, which takes time, but
Yeah.
you do get there.
Yeah.
Love your body. That's
Love
my
your
that's
body,
my
yeah.
best advice. Be kind to
I
it.
had one affirmation. It was like I have a strong body, because strong came not like fitness wise, but like strong that I can handle things, like my health is good.
Yep.
Because it was always worries about health. Have a strong body and a calm mind.
There
have
you go.
a strong body and a calm mind.
And you keep saying it.
Yeah.
And
until you
eventually
believe
your
it.
body will believe
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Truly,
yeah, yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah, tried and tested.
Yeah.
So we spoke about movement. I think in movement, one of the things also about building muscles for women.
Yeah.
This is very, not like go build
Bulky, no.
muscles,
Yeah.
but actually have
Muscle mass. You need a bit of
Muscle
muscle
mass,
mass,
yes.
of course, for your health. And the older you get, the more you need muscle mass because it
Yes.
becomes harder.
Yes.
And that's going to keep your body protected.
Yes.
Your joints, your muscles, everything's going to be protected.
Yes.
So you want to protect your body as you
Yes.
age.
And
So
keep it
it's-
strong.
And keep
basically.
it strong.
Yeah.
That's what else do we have? We have
Yeah.
our bodies. That's
Yeah.
all. So you take care of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be weak.
Yeah.
You never want to be
Definitely.
weak. You want to be strong because if you're weak, your immunity goes down.
Yeah.
Everything goes down.
Yeah.
So focus on your strength.
Strength.
Doesn't need to be crazy, but focus on your strength.
Yeah.
Build some muscle, eat
But
well.
You can be very strong physically, but actually be very unhealthy
Yeah, of
inside
course.
too. So it's
It's both.
both.
It's
Yeah,
both
yeah, yeah.
food. I mean, look, it's all connected. It's a package
all-
deal.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
saying you have to go to the gym 5 times a week. Like I wasn't very strong
Yeah.
after both my pregnancies because I was back to back
Yeah.
pregnant and it was a lot. And I had lost my fitness. I was
Okay.
always very fit when I was young.
I mean, you created 2 human beings.
I created 2 human beings. It was COVID,
Small
so
Yeah.
the timing wasn't nice, and
Yeah.
postpartum, it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
a lot for a few years.
Yeah.
And I lost my fitness for a while. And my goal this past September, so last September, a year ago, I said to myself, I'm going to get my strength back. And I
Strength, I
only
like that.
committed to 1 day a week PT. And I always really did not enjoy PT
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. Because if someone's not pushing me, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to commit. And every few months, when I started to feel better, I was like, I'm going to add one more PT. And then I got to 2 days. Yeah. And I kept doing it gradually. So start slow. Exactly. Don't overcommit.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like that. I used to be like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then I would not go, and then I would be really disappointed in myself.
Yes.
Do not overcommit and then disappoint yourself.
Yes.
Start with one.
It's about the long term.
One session.
Yeah.
That's it. Just commit. Yeah. Nothing touches that time for me.
Yeah.
My workouts now, I'm at 3. And then I add in what I want, like a bit of yoga, a bit of Pilates, whatever it is, whatever I enjoy. Nothing will touch my times unless it's an emergency or like a school thing for my kids. Nothing will touch those times.
Yeah. And it has to be something you enjoy.
Of course.
Like, for example, okay, it was like, for nothing against anybody that does reformer Pilates.
Yes,
and
it's a trend.
It's a trend. Like,
I used to love it.
Everybody loved it. I've tried it so much. For me, it was like a torture machine.
It's hard.
And it's so hard, but I was not worried about like, I was so worried about falling from that machine.
You didn't feel safe. Yeah. It's hard in the first session. It's really intense. Exactly. I did it years ago, loved it. Now I kind of I did it a lot in London just now in the summer.
Yes, I did it a lot in London too. I think it was one of the, like, they had some nice studios.
It was on and off for me, but I get it. Like, you have to really enjoy it.
It's actually really good when you have injuries. I was injured at that time and it's very good.
Well, Pilates and yoga are kind of those that are really going to keep your joints healthy and your muscles healthy because it lengthens and it strengthens. Whereas gym only strengthens. Yeah. And then you get really tight and then you can get injured. So you don't want that. You need both.
And I wanted to move to supplements.
Yes.
So what is healthy and what is healthy? I mean, in your opinion, what do women need as supplements? What do they need to look at to know if they need the supplement? And then what is PCOS? I know that there's a huge discussion around supplements.
Yes.
We have berberine, I'm sure you know, and this is very popular with our supplement, and berberine is actually one of the most researched herbs when it comes to PCOS and all this. So what is your opinion?
So when I was going through PCOS, I was on a lot of supplements. Berberine was one of them for my insulin resistance. And I didn't know that it was berberine. It was called glucose control and it was a blend. It was all compounded in a pharmacy. So at the time I didn't know that it was berberine. Now I look back, I'm like, oh, I was on berberine, but I wasn't aware. And it was berberine along with other things. Blended.
Usually berberine would be like one of the highest
dose plus a couple of things because it was they make it for you in a pharmacy type of place.
But ours is like pure berberine. And one of the things, it's actually very, very hard right now to find very good pure
quality.
Berberine. Yes.
Quality also. Hard. That's the thing with supplements. I was about to say. So not all, most supplements are very synthetic and very poor quality. So for me, I focus on that. So there's only a couple of brands that I suggest to my clients. With PCOS specifically, there's a few things that I look at. So if your period is irregular and you do not have a regular cycle, look into Vitex. Vitex is a natural berry. It's completely natural. It raises your progesterone. So if your progesterone's low, like it was for me, you can take that for, let's say, 6 to 12 months, and it should get it works like birth control. It's insane. So you don't need birth control. Just go get some Vitex, you know, if that's your issue. Because some people take it to regulate their periods. That's Vitex. Secondly, berberine. If you have insulin resistance, that's also one because it regulates the glucose levels and insulin. And then lastly is myo-inositol, which is great for egg quality and ovulation. So if you're someone who's trying to conceive, you don't have to be trying to conceive, but it's something that's...
What about, folic acid?
Folic acid
is the like standard one.
Is the standard one. I recommend folate because it's a bit better in terms of absorption than folic. Folic is a bit more on the synthetic side. So I always say folate. So if you're trying to conceive, of course, folate is 400 milligrams. You should be taking at least 400. So those are kind of the hormonal supplements that are just the base. So depending on the person, I will see what they need. You might not need all of them.
Definitely.
General supplements that I love to recommend are probiotics for the gut. I think they're key.
Should we take always probiotics?
I take breaks.
So
I do 3 months on, 1 month off. Sometimes 6 months on, 1 month off. It depends on my vacationing, it's okay. Exactly. Or you're not feeling well or immunity or whatever it is. You can always take them, but I personally cycle my supplements now. when I was doing my treatment for PCOS, I was not cycling. I was doing them until I needed to do them. It depends on how you're feeling. So probiotics is a great one. I love, taking care of the guts. Collagen is a great one. If you are over 30 and you feel like you want to take care of your skin and your hair and your nails and your joints and all that, I love collagen.
Yeah, actually on Valeo, we have our collagen, and it took us a lot of time. I think the team hated me because it's pure marine collagen. It's very good. It's not mixed with anything else.
That's amazing.
I told them I don't want it with anything. I just want pure marine collagen, high quality, no aftertaste.
And it's hard to do that.
Exactly.
I've tried a few and it's tough.
Yeah.
So I'd love to try it. There we go. I'm gonna give it a go.
Because I didn't want an aftertaste.
Yeah.
And I saw that if we mix it with things, it just didn't work.
No, it's hard. Powders are tough to formulate. So you really need, if you want it to be a good one, obviously, then you need to put a lot of effort.
Exactly, but collagen,
So collagen's great. Then you have your basics, like vitamin C. We don't store vitamin C, so you can take it daily. You just pee out whatever is excess in there.
Exactly.
So no big deal if you want to take that daily. If you're taking vitamin C, make sure it's liposomal, because the absorption rate is a lot better than don't take the fizzy tablets. Not those.
The liquid one.
The liquid one's great, or a capsule,
as
long as it's a liposomal vitamin C. That's kind of the ideal situation. You can take up to 4,000 milligrams a day. I usually take between 1 to 2. Especially if someone's not well in the house, travel, etc. So vitamin C is one of those. It's high in antioxidants. It's incredible. And then D, depending if you're low. Most people are low. A lot of people are low. It's common in our region. A lot of people are deficient. So if someone's deficient, obviously, I will recommend D.
But we've seen deficient, down to 7, 8, 9.
Oh my gosh.
So you're okay, no, you need to
severe.
We do vitamin D injections at that
I was going to say, that's
more
effective if you're that low.
So we do the vitamin D injection. But then you'll have somebody who's at 80, which is optimal.
Yeah. They don't need it.
Yeah.
So don't just take it.
Yeah.
That's not one you should take for fun. You should check.
Exactly.
Don't just take it for fun.
Exactly.
Because somebody said take it because it's good for you. No. And then there's all kinds of other supplements that are used, ashwagandha. I take ashwagandha every night.
Actually,
and I love it. Calms my mind down. I just want to decompress, have my ashwagandha, and I go to sleep. It helps my sleep.
Have you heard of Shilajit?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
I love it.
Yeah?
You should make it.
Yeah.
Because it's not here, huh? I was going to say good. Because it's not here. It's very hard to get your hands on.
Yeah.
I order it from the US. There we go. I'm waiting. Let me know. Send me the link.
It's again, great
I love
research.
Yeah.
Very well.
So high in minerals.
Very good for women too.
For your hormones, for your energy levels, for your moods, everything, recovery, sleep.
Yeah.
It's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I've been taking it for about a year.
Yes.
On and off, but a year.
On and off, okay.
And I take it every morning in my water.
Yeah.
I put it, because it's a liquid form, and I put it in my hot water with a bit of lemon.
It's black, so it
looks like tar. It's very odd.
I know, when we were testing it with the team, I'm like, what is this?
What is this? It's literally from a volcanic rock.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild, but it is one of the most healing things for us.
I completely agree.
I have been taking it. I love it.
Yeah.
So I do recommend it especially for men, if they have low testosterone.
Yes.
It boosts testosterone.
Yes. We looked at the research because of low testosterone. So we looked at Shilajit because of low testosterone. And then the more we read the research, we're like, okay, this is actually good for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Not just testosterone, obviously. That's just one of the things for men. So if it's libido, it's testosterone, it boosts all that for a man, which can go down obviously with age.
Very good.
Yeah.
So my last point, because I know we don't have a lot of time, even though I can speak for hours.
And hours.
Yes. The mind.
Yes.
So I think, everything, we spoke about movement, we spoke about supplements, we spoke about nutrition, but it all comes back to the mind.
Take care of the mind.
Yes.
So PCOS is one of those things that can lead to the decline of, cognitive function, right?
Exactly.
And so the thing is, when it comes to mental health, like for example, Alzheimer's, what is it called? Type 3 diabetes.
Yeah.
It's the insulin resistance of the brain. That's what it's called. So if you go back, insulin resistance, inflammation, controlling your glucose, controlling your diet, all of these factors will help the mind, whether or not you have PCOS. But if you do have PCOS, you have to be extra cautious of taking care of the mind by eating a low inflammation diet.
Yes.
By removing the sugar, because sugar is one of the craziest things for the mind. It really can be so damaging.
Yeah.
And then gut. gut-mind connection.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just all connected. I think everybody
yeah.
wants to separate it. It's not separate.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the three things for me, taking the right supplements to boost the neurological.
What is good for mind?
So you have the adaptogens that can be great, such as ashwagandha, such as ginseng. You know, these are kind of more used in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. I've kind of dabbled a little in both over the years, not strictly. So they're very interesting for the mind and dealing with stress. So it helps your body adapt to stress, which none of us know how to do because we're all stressed all the time and we don't know what to do. Everybody goes
work with like saying stop stressing.
No. You have a cigarette, you have a glass of wine. Like that's not helpful. So taking adaptogens is very good for helping your body adapt to stress. So that's one thing you can do because stress is obviously key. Diet changes, as I said, the 3 foods, cut them out.
It makes a huge difference.
Cut them out. Inflammation needs to go down big time. And we're all inflamed.
Yes.
It's okay, but you have to control it.
Yes.
And then sugar levels. Control your glucose levels. These 3 things.
I mean, sugar levels actually is not only important if you have PCOS and you have insulin resistance.
Oh, in general.
Actually, in general.
It'll catch up to you.
Yeah.
That's 100%. The thing. Everybody thinks like, oh, but I'm 100%.
Good. Yeah.
You're good now.
Yes.
But sadly, you get to the point where you're not good.
Yes.
And then, you know, you have gut issues all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Or you have anxiety all of a sudden, or you have something down the line, but you don't connect it. You're like, oh, I'm just anxious because I'm just
But it's actually your body giving you messages.
Your body's always trying to talk to you.
100%.
We ignore. 100%. We blame genetics.
So my last thing, I'm very excited you have your own package on Valeo.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, what is it, you know, who should be interested in this? It's focused more on what, so that any of our listeners, if they want to get it.
So I obviously, when we spoke about this a few months ago, I was so excited because I always have my clients asking me, I need to do a blood test. What do I do? And I never really knew where to refer them. So this is great. So thank you.
Welcome.
So I created my own test with you guys, and it tests sort of all the things that I believe are really important for women to test, and men, but mainly women. It's all the hormones and thyroid function,
very good.
Iron, vitamin D, kind of the basic vitamins, which you should be testing once or twice a year. And the inflammation markers to make sure you do not have severe levels of inflammation. So those are kind of the main things that I put in the test. So it's not too much. I didn't want to do kind of a full blood count because then you can go get a full blood count when you need to. I wanted to test the main things that I would find helpful to when I'm working with someone, you know, 100%. And then I recommend the supplements based on that. So that's the test. I think anyone can do it. It's a great test to do on a once to twice a year basis to keep up with your wellness.
Perfect. So they can go to our exclusive packages and buy it.
I will definitely be, you know, I'm going to be sharing it for a while. So I'm so excited. I love it.
Thank you. Layla, this was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.